He recruited the likes of Derrick Rose and Tyreek Evans to play for the Memphis Tigers. Now John Calipari is working as recruiting magic for the Kentucky Wildcats. He now joins us from Lexington. Coach, you were introduced as the newest head coach at Kentucky at the beginning of this month. When did you actually start recruiting for this class, though?
Well, you know, the relationships you have with coaches and people around the country don't change when you change a job. And, you know, there are hopefully thousands and thousands of people who are out there talking highly right now of Kentucky basketball. So, you know, we have a lot of goodwill out there, but we have some other guys that are probably saying, you're not playing for that guy at Kentucky. So that's out there. That's all part of recruiting.
Well, let's talk about those relationships a little bit more, because I know it was very tough for you to make this move from Memphis to Kentucky. And then you go into the recruiting class that you were starting to put together with the Memphis Tigers. What is that like, to have to call a young guy and his family that you have really built a relationship with and let them know you're going somewhere else and they may not be coming with you?
How about the players that were in the program? How about the family and friends that we've had over the years? And again, when you're at a place a long time, it starts about having trust, and then it builds into respect, and then it builds into affection. Well, these players were players who were counting on us, and I didn't expect the Kentucky job to open. But it's a job that at the end of the day, I said, I've got to take this. I'd regret the rest of my life if I didn't. And
when you did take the job, you just said it. Plain and simply, it's Kentucky. That kind of talks to the name brand that this Wildcats program has. No knock against UMass, no knock against Memphis, but what does that brand recognition do for you when you're out there on that recruiting trail?
Well, part of it is the brand isn't what it used to be. I remember 10 years ago when Kentucky walked in a gym, you put your head down and you said, do they really want this kid? And you'd go up to them and ask, are you really wanting this kid? Because if they really wanted him, you left the gym. That's just how it was. Well, that has changed. You know, we built that brand at Memphis, and that brand was about a style of play. It's about graduating players. We graduated 19 of our last 22 seniors. It's about getting guys to the NBA and getting them prepared. The Rookie of the Year is going to be Derrick Rose. Tyreek Evans at the beginning of the year was not on the draft lists. He's going to go in the top 10 picks. I'm hoping it's 6, 7, or 8. So it built into that. Well, we've got to do that with Kentucky now, where kids look at us, and we're getting those calls right now. Juniors and sophomores are saying, you know what? Are you interested in us? So we're getting a lot of calls. We're fielding a lot of calls right now from juniors who are saying we're really interested. We're just trying to finish out what we're going to try to do this year. Try to get this team ready, try to get some recruits in here and build from there.
And off of that, it's important to note to our viewers that NCAA rules prohibit you from talking about any prospect out there, even if they're committed, that is yet to fax their letter of intent to you in Lexington. So we can't talk about that. But in general terms, how much is left? We don't want to get you in trouble, Coach. We don't want to do that. How much is left generally for this class?
We'd probably like to bring in 3 more guys. And you know, we've got to look at it. We've got some good players out there. We have needs on this team. We have some good players coming back. A couple guys are going to put their names in the draft. Jody already has. So all of a sudden you look and say, if Jody's gone and this guy's gone, maybe Patrick Patterson goes. You got to fill out your team now. If those 2 come back, obviously we're going to be really good with adding some more players to this team. We'll be one of those teams everybody's talking about. But at this point, we don't know. So we've got to go out and make sure we protect ourselves, bring in some good players. And there are good players out there that want to play the dribble drive motion. They want to be unleashed. They're out there, and we just got to see if they're coming with us.
Now, one of the guys we can talk about is Daniel Orton out of Oklahoma, the number 4 center in the country. He has signed his letter of intent, did that in the early signing period. How is he kind of falling into the plans and your ideas of this dribble drive motion you did at Memphis?
Well, I think he'll be great, and I also think you can play this thing different ways. One of the things you can play is you play it with 2 guys, with one of the big guys trailing the other guy running to the rim. So I've always geared this to the personnel that I've had. But you can do this with 2 big guys. And the main reason is Daniel Orton can shoot threes. He can put it on the floor. Now, he had the knee injury, so now they've rated him as the 4th best center. But he is a talented, skilled player. I watched him in the Derby Classic on tape, and I'll tell you, he's in pretty good condition for having the knee injury, and I think he's going to be great in this. What happens for a player like that in this motion offense, it is so spread out. You don't have people on top of you. So if you're a good player, we're all over the perimeter. You got the lane to yourself. The other thing is good is we can throw guys in pick and rolls if the guy setting that screen on the ball can play. Daniel Orton can play.
Well, Coach Cal, thank you so much for joining us on our coverage of National Signing Day. Again, you can't talk about those missing pieces, but we certainly will. Coach Cal, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And, Coach, you heard him talk highly about Daniel Orton. Why, in your mind, is he one of the top centers in the nation?
Because he's strong, he's physical, he's a good passing center, he can shoot a 15-foot jump shot, and he can dominate the game in the paint, and Kentucky needs help in the paint.
The big storyline for Kentucky is what they're going to do from here on out. You see DeMarcus Cousins there. They're expecting that letter of intent to arrive soon in Lexington. Once it does, he will be a done deal. But it's all kind of tied together. Daniel Orton from Oklahoma played at a rival high school of Xavier Henry, one of the top shooting guards in the nation, that was actually signed to play for Coach Cal with the Memphis Tigers. Then you have a guy like John Wall, the top point guard in the nation out there. Is Kentucky and Coach Cal enough to make those other top prospects want to also follow him to a program like that?
Well, already they're good enough, and wherever they go, they become instantly better because they're program changers. One player can help change your program and your fortune, and they're worth the wait if they come to you. But that's why you recruit 2 or 3 people at a time. Correct me where I'm wrong, Coach.
Absolutely. You got a dominating player in DeMarcus Cousins right now. He's a difference maker. He'll be a top scorer for Kentucky next year, take pressure off of Patterson and Meeks. You put John Wall in the mix. Kentucky desperately needs a point guard. DeMarcus Cousins can score in the paint when he's focused. He can dominate the game. He's a terrific passer. He's got handle behind the three-point line, Adrian. He's going to be terrific in that dribble drive system. He can create for himself, and he can create for other people. But the guy that they desperately need is John Wall. He is a big-time difference maker. He can find people off penetration. There's nobody that can keep him out of the lane in college basketball. His jump shot isn't as good as it needs to be, but he has the speed of a Derrick Rose.
Yeah, he's got natural instincts. He's explosive. He can go in and finish above the rim, and also he can make your teammates better by getting them easy shots. That's what you want from a point guard, and also he has the love of the game. So some of the intangibles that you're looking for, he has that, and he also is a guy that if he comes to your program, wow, watch out. Instant contender.
Will he even go to a college program, though? That's some of the questions right now. Story that's just been developing as of late with John Wall, the possibility of him foregoing college basketball to play next season in the NBA. You've been doing some research with front office personnel in the NBA. How is this even a possibility under the guidelines that are set in place?
Well, there's some simple rules, and the way that I understand it is this. If you're 19 years old in the same year of the draft, which he's going to be 19 in September, John Wall, and the draft is in June. Also, he's 1 year removed from his graduating class. If he's been in school 5 years, which he has, his class graduated last year. He's 1 year removed. This could be a real possibility for the NBA. And if it is, he's going 2 or 3 or 4 in the draft. He's going to be a high lottery pick.
Yeah, because you got Blake Griffin there, so someone else has to come
Blake's
behind
getting
that.
number 1. There's no question about that.
Don't forget about the beat. He might be a long shot, depending on the role.
Well, now in the Nike Hoops Summit, we saw John Wall set a record with 11 assists in that game. Some of those came to his buddy Xavier Henry, who hit 6 3-pointers in that game. He was the #1 player in the nation for a little while. What is he looking at doing? When he's talking about that balance, what does he do between Kansas and Kentucky?
Well, he has a strong affection for Coach Calipari, obviously, because he committed to Memphis. It's a known fact that he wants to play with his brother, CJ. He has a lot of respect and admiration for Bill Self at Kansas. Xavier's family, parents, mother and father, both went to Kansas. This is a 50-50 shot right now. I don't know where he's going. I don't think he knows where he's going. Adrian, maybe you know where he's going.
Well, you talked to his pops and he didn't give you anything, so tipping the hat. Again, he's one of those guys that's a program changer. He's worth the wait if Kansas or Kentucky gets him.
Who's
like getting his brother right now? That's the question.
That's the key.
Who's getting CJ?
CJ Henry, he was at Memphis, redshirted. They are petitioning the NBA, or excuse me, the NCAA to let him play immediately so he can't play with Xavier. You see the comparison, though, with John Calipari and the coach he is replacing, Billy Gillispie, what they have done over the last 2 seasons. Advantage Coach Cal.